Lunch and learn time. Hello, everybody. I am trying to find my comments. So feel free to drop one comment below so I can just find it a little easier. And then we're going to go ahead and get started. Hello, everybody. All right. I'm like discombobulated today. And we'll get Tom in. So he's still looking for the link. All right. Wonderful. And then let's get the slides shared. And I'll just toggle back and forth between some screens for the chats. Wonderful. And yeah, so today's topic is a fun one, even though it doesn't sound as fun. And I say that because statistics and numbers have two effects on people, right? So that's why we're going to talk about that today. So for those of you guys that are brand new to class and never had a lunch and learn, it's a lot of fun. I do have no fees on these classes. I do them completely free. I do have one ask, which I try to get out of the way really early on, which is, will you leave me a review after class is done, or however long you can stay? I do try to keep them under an hour. And I do want an honest review. This is how we continue making these classes free, better. And again, it's from an agent to an agent. You can go ahead and if you want to text the word review now, you can do that just so you have the link later. You can just one word, text it to 844-950-3580, and then you'll get a link for our Google review settings, okay? Alternatively, if you are on a computer, you can scan this one. And if you scan the QR code, it's actually like a little fun one. You scan the QR code on your computer, it'll open up your messages. Yes, like it will literally open up your messages on your phone with the word review already in it. So if you are in front of a computer, give it a try. It's really fun. I wonder if I can do it from my phone. So let's see. And then it'll like open up my messenger and it has the word review. So all I got to do is hit send. Isn't it fun? Okay, a little bit of, technology to play around. So for those of you that have the phone, give that QR code a try. I think it's fun. That's just me. I think making it easy for people is like what I'm all about. And I do think that I'm going to write you, okay? Because when you type a review about today's class, we do reward all of our honest reviews with a business builder box. What's a business builder box? It's my way of saying thank you for you to taking the time. And it has a lot of fun things in there. We do send these out monthly to our members, which is essentially a repeat and referral system in a box, meaning we physically send a box to our members each and every month. And sometimes that has a book. It always has a conversation tracker, so you can like check them off. I'm a checklist person, love checklists. It has a free gift. It has a postcard template included. It has access to our mastermind on there. It's a little bit of everything in this box to really continue staying top of mind with your sphere and your past clients. So that's what this box is. And again, you can get one 100% free by simply reviewing class today. Okay, fair? Awesome. How was that number again? Right there, this one. Okay, you can just text review 844-950-3580. Okay, so, but first up, I got to deliver the class, right? So today, hyper local lead generation with statistic mailers. That's right. And for those of you that don't know me, I don't think I have an introduction slide on there. So I'm going to do that right now. My name is Janine. I am a licensed real estate instructor in the state of Illinois. I started these lunch and learns for my way of connecting with more real estate agents. I'm actively licensed selling as well. And my goal is to just really help agents take the steps, right? There's a lot of coaches out there. There's a lot of mindset stuff going on. That's not me. I'm the how-to person. How do you do it? How do you actually get the leads? That is what we do here in these lunch and learns. So the goal is for you to take actual action and take stuff away that you can implement. Okay. So this one is quick Disclaimer, this is for educational and informational purposes only. It has been compiled and derived from sources that I believe to be reliable. Obviously, there's no representation or warranty expressed or implied to its accuracy or completeness. And I hope it goes without saying, talk to your broker, okay? I do obviously have a bigger background in the state of Illinois, and some of you have similar rules. At the end of the day, especially for today's class, okay, we're gonna be talking about statistics. Some of you are in non-disclosure states. Some of you have certain rules. I need you to check with your broker, okay? Because all of you have different rules. If that sounds fair, type fair in the comments, or okay, let me know something that we're going to acknowledge that part. Because the last thing I want to hear is, well, Janine told me so. Janine said you're an independent business owner and you need to do your due diligence. Now, we do have a free workbook that you can download. There's no opt-in or anything, but this one here is at the hyperlocalagent.com/workbook. Fair, okay. Thank you for all of you guys that are on here live and acknowledging that one. I think it goes without saying, but gotta say it, right? All right, I'm gonna type in the workbook link. If you don't have a workbook for today, that's fine, but we do highly encourage the workbooks for various reasons. One, it keeps you focused. I'm a note taker, I'm a scribbler. It also is something you can refer back to. We have a habit of dropping a whole lot of stuff. And then it's got additional resources, which I'm gonna share with you now as well, but then you have it in writing too. So what's your goal on every listing appointment? It's obviously to take the listing, right? And just like you have a goal when you go somewhere, I show up with a goal in mind too. My goal is pretty simple. It's either you are the lifetime learner person, and I'll see you next Monday in class again, which would be awesome, or you are the book reader, in which case I have so many people. Let me see where it's one. There. Ask me, Janine, can I pick your brain? And it's like, my brain is like in these books here. I got this one right here, Success Was Just Listed and Just Sold postcards. And then also another one called Success Was Real Estate Mailers. So that's the best way to pick my brain if you want to talk mail. And then the Action Taker, and that's the boot camp. Now, we do have one more boot camp for 2024, which is in November. And hopefully 2025, I'm going to bring more boot camps to you, which are also free, but it's all about taking the action and actually hitting print. Okay. So those are the three options after class that I would love for you to consider. Why? Because showing up to class and doing nothing afterwards, why? Right? We need to use our time. There's only so much. So I told you about this one. So the lifetime learner, we're currently working on our class pass. So right now underneath this video, I think it still says coming soon. When you see the coming soon disappearing, it'll be live and you can kind of get, it's like a Netflix for classes, if you will. All of my classes will be there on demand. So if you have a certain class where you're like, I need to watch this and I don't want to wait till next Monday or whenever it's on the agenda, that's the way to go about it. Again, all about geographic farming, lead generation, direct mail marketing. Okay. So again, once that's there, you'll find it. Talk to you about the book. Right now, I am actually giving away my book for free. You will have to cover the handling and shipping charge, which I think is like $10. You can also go to Amazon if you wanted to. It's $15 there. So if you like to save some money, here's a link for that. And then I talk to you about the boot camp. This one again is mailerbootcamp.com. So got that all out of the way? Got your workbook? Yes? Well, let's dive in. Have you ever used statistics in your real estate marketing before? I am curious. How many people here have used statistics before? Anything related to numbers? Graphs, charts? Have you thought about it? Not sure where to get the information? Let me know in the comments just so I can kind of gauge where you're at with things. And while you let me know, I'm going to admit, I didn't think I was a number nerd. And long story short, I had this coach that I hired because, gotta need somebody to push you along. And he was like, I need you to fill out this sheet for me every week before our call. And it was just such a drag. And I'm like, I don't like it. I hate it. I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't track my numbers. Terrible, I know. But at the end of the day, I didn't feel really connected with that. Well, turns out I'm liking numbers, just not in the way the whole tracking and stuff was explained to me. Statistic mailers are all about the numbers too, but it's not necessarily about tracking your own numbers as much as it is about compiling data. And that's the part that I think is really, really fun. And I'm going to show you how fun this could be. And it also makes you feel pretty good. How many of you have looked at an infographic before, for example, and in a matter of a minute, you're like, I got it, right? Now, here's an example. When you look at statistics, your brain is just responding completely different. Which one do you think is going to be much more attractive for you to send in your marketing? If you think the one with a red headline, type red. And if you think all the text, just type black. Let me know in the comments. I think it's kind of like a, hypothetical question, I guess, if you want. But if this was you, where are you drawn to? Red, of course, right? Yes. Everybody is here like, yeah, red. Why? Because it's easy. It's easy to digest. And that is the whole point of today's class. So, Yvonne, we will get to the book later again. I'll show you all of that at the end. So you'll pick your pass at the end. It's all good. All right. So since this is a pretty clear winner, right? I don't think I have anybody saying black ever when I do this slide. Let's focus on the what to make it just so much better in digesting the information. So first up, why statistics? And the biggest one here is confidence. Okay, when you feel like you have a number to give to your prospective lead, right, to your prospective seller, to your prospective buyer, it's not just that your confidence is also higher, it's that they're having more confidence in you. Okay, numbers can truly help us feel more comfortable when we talk with buyers and sellers. So, and then on the flip side, they are feeling like we know what we're talking about when we're using numbers. Anybody ever noticed that? Next up, we have relevance. Having market data specific to an area can really help debunk national or local news. How many of you are so tired of hearing we have historically low inventory and houses are flying off the market, right? I mean, when you are having hyper local markets and all of a sudden a market is shifting, but your prospect is still tuning into national news, not realizing, right, what happens, then that is the issue. Oh, Thomas, thank you. Apparently I had a typo in my comment. Yes, there is a typo in there. Thank you. Okay. So the market trends are the next part we're going to talk about. But first up, everybody is clear on the relevance part, right? Local news are our demise for sure, because when they hear it on the news, it seems so legitimate. And then we come along and say, yeah, but our hyper-local market is actually doing something else. Had that happen multiple times. Market trends. Now, numbers will definitely help get to know the market trends. When you look at the year-over-year listing inventory, when you look at the selling prices, all of these market trends can really help us express ourselves better, and then also have the customer understand what is going on. And then the fourth thing is effectiveness. And that is the part that I'm really excited about, because let's be honest, we all do this for one reason and one reason only, right? Doing more business. Yes. I'm like, why would I send a market piece if it doesn't lead to more business? It's effective as can be. It is attention grabbing, and it is one of the most effective marketing pieces that you possibly can send. And I'm going to show you a lot of examples today that you can implement in your business. So know your numbers, right? You heard it before. Know your numbers. It's not sexy all the time. It just is what it is, right? And some personality types downright struggle with it. Anybody here a high I and thinking statistics? They probably didn't even register for the class. They're like, statistics? No thanks. And yes, we do have a class on personality profiling, by the way. So you can dive into what prospecting plan is the best for your personality type. But again, coming back to this, the one or question we all get is what? How much can I get for my house? And we are really good at answering that. We are really good at answering that question, right? So you don't have to be a number person to like statistics or to like numbers. Make sense? All right. So let's see. Numbers help us with a couple things. First up, you're going to secure more ready home sellers. And I'll tell you why. When you have a home seller who is much more ready, their question base, their, thinking changes. And the example I have here is they go from, well, I wonder what color should I paint my house if I'm looking to sell in the next 12 months or in the next 6 months or in the next 2 years, right? They have this question about the make ready and all of that good stuff. But at a certain point in the selling thought journey that they're going through, okay, every single seller has a thought journey. And according to NAR, they had a stat out that said, and I wish I had it here, but you're going to have to believe me or I have to find the quote for you. But they had something out that said the first thought, okay, the first time that you had a thought about selling occurred about 2 years prior to you actually selling. 2 years that you had the thought about, we should get ready to think about selling our house. 2 years. That's right. Crazy, right? So the question is, well, if it's 2 years out, what's going on in their mind? Well, I wonder if I have to fix this. I wonder what color should I paint my house? It's like, man, where are we going, right? All these questions are being answered first and foremost. And then when they finally have all of these things, I know where I'm going. My house is kind of ready. I have a couple little things left here and there. I've decluttered, right? I got rid of a whole bunch of stuff. The next question is, I wonder how the market is doing and how much I can get now. Because now I've done all the work as well, right? So you see why they are much more ready than most other sellers. Make sense, everybody? Yes? It's that number one question. It also starts a conversation. When you send a statistic mailer, it helps the seller to really have something to talk about. How many of you would like to start a conversation with strangers? That is where most of my business come from. I don't do a whole lot of business with my sphere. Don't have really one here. I didn't grow up here. I grew up in Germany, was born and raised there. I didn't go to school here. My kids were little, so I didn't have school going on, no sports going on. So I had no sphere. And the little sphere my husband had was spoken for by his mother, who also has a real estate license. So I had to figure out strangers, right? Stranger danger. I know. And when I look at this, it's really hard for some people to strike up a conversation with somebody they don't know. What do you say first? Hi, I'm looking to sell my house. Is that a little bit too forward? Do I want to maybe hold my cards back a little? Right? What if that agent has actually a buyer and then I'm going to just spill my guts that I've already bought a house and I've already done this and this and, maybe they don't want to do that either. Some people are calculated. Some people are just introverts. That's me too, by the way. I know. Super happy here. Doesn't matter how many people are on this call. I'm happy in front of a computer. Super introvert, right? But starting a conversation is necessary. So the thought goes from, man, I got to connect with an agent. How do I do this? Do I call them? Do they still answer their phones? Like last time I talked to somebody, they said they never ever got a call back. Do you just send an email? Are they already texting? Is that the only way to talk? So what do you even say? Hi, I'm looking to sell my house. Hi, I'd like you to come over. What do you do? And if they have something in their hand, right? it becomes a little easier. Hey, you sent me this in the mail, and I was wondering if we can have a conversation. Hey, you sent me this in the mail, and I was wondering if you know what my home would actually go for. It's a fantastic conversation starter when you send statistics. All right. Next up, the numbers also help with pricing and price adjustments. Anybody currently have a listing sitting on the market and there's no showings? That's me right now. It's rough, right? Price and price adjustments is a great way to bring in numbers because they are putting the focus back on the market. What's the market doing? Okay. What the market did in 2021 is not what the market is doing in 2024. So, talking about the market. This would be, well, we listed at this price based on your recommendation. Why have we not sold yet? You see how they have this, like, I blame you for this kind of attitude about it? All right. When you have statistics, it goes something along the way of, all right, I see that there is a trend going on here and things are shifting. It does make sense. Can you explain a little bit more what's going on? Okay. Feels a whole lot better to see it this way. And then numbers also help with obviously marketing and attention grabbing because people love numbers. I could have sent you an email about a couple things, but I decided to talk about statistics and numbers, right? Numbers are great. The example I have here is how many of you have heard the line before, I sell houses faster and for more money than anybody else. It's a pretty generic statement, right? How about I sell on average for 1.8 times faster than the competition and for $12,750 more than my closest competitor? Let me show you how. Now there's real numbers in them, okay? Real numbers. And most of you have statistics available through your MLS, through your board that you can get your hands on. So when I said talk to your broker, what's available, right? Or talk to your board, there's a lot of things available. You could also use national statistics to look at. Great one. Okay. So look what numbers could work for you. And there's really 3 buckets. And I'll go over these 3 buckets with you in a minute. But it's market trends, neighborhood stats, and client review ratings. Taking any of these 3 buckets, there are a few different things that you could do. And you see some of them here on the screen, okay? You see this one here is one of my mailers that I send out. This one is actually heading out right now as I'm recording this one live. And what it does is it goes to my farm and it has a whole lot of statistics on there. I screenshotted a few other ones from people that are within GeoCentral, which is the mailing platform I use. And all of these are, well, some of them. This one here is not a template, but all of the other ones are templates within the platform. And they have one thing in common: numbers. Now, for those of you that are in a non-disclosure state, out of curiosity, anybody here a non-disclosure state? You have a couple different rules when it comes to your marketing, but home prices in terms of appreciation or depreciation, right? Over the course of the last 30 days, home prices appreciated by 3%, okay? You can talk about that. You may not be able to say, hey, this house sold for $363,000, but you can talk about trends, right? Days on market. What are days on market looking like? That's another market trend that you could talk about. Hey, days on market went from 12 days on market to 21 days on market. What does it mean? I'll tell you after I give you the other stats, right? List to sale price ratio. Hey, on average right now, we are selling homes at 97% of list price. What do you mean? We're not going to get 120%? We're not going to go over asking with all these crazy things? Not according to statistics right now, right? Number of homes for sale. Well, right now there is 235 houses in the metropolitan area available. Out of those, we only have 2 on the market inside our subdivision, right? Easy enough. Months supply, obviously this one is to the consumer a little less clear of why would we even talk about, the monthly supply of houses. And it's really just an indicator of how the market does. Price per square foot. And there's a little asterisk on there for a reason. I think the price per square foot is the worst possible statistics that's out there. I always have somebody in class normally say, well, what about this one? I want to give you my opinion. Okay. My opinion on price per square foot is that it doesn't work for real estate. It might be a good guesstimate. It might be good for the algorithm, right? But algorithm needs something. But what if I have two houses and one smells like roses and the other one smells like smoke? The square footage is the same. Now, I'm here to argue that if everything was identical, the price per square foot is going to be significantly lower on the one that smells like smoke. Obviously, you probably will agree with me. If you have a house, okay, same house, we're going to continue with our smoking house, and then that smoking house is now backing up to the sanitation plant, whereas the other one is backing up to the woods. This price per square foot is going to be really, really different. So I can continue going on and on and on about all of the stuff from updates inside, right, to, let's see, they just did everything brand new kitchen, new bathrooms, brand new roof, mechanics, everything is new. And then my smoker house, nothing was done. The square footage is still the same. Okay, so you see my little rant here about the price per square foot. Consumers typically like price per square foot. It's definitely an interesting metric to look at when you think about getting an idea, getting a zestimate, getting a guesstimate, whichever you want to call it. However, price per square foot, in my opinion, is a good indicator for that seller to really, really question that agent. Well, price per square foot should not be used. So, and again, that's one of the opinions I have. You can agree or disagree, but that is why I think we will continue having jobs way beyond AI. Now, what other numbers work for you? We talked about market trends. The next bucket is neighborhood stats. And the neighborhood stats are interesting because you can talk about other things within the neighborhood. You could talk about school ranking by simply quoting. No, you are not saying this is a good school. You are saying this school was ranked as this school according to this source, right? So rank, source, quote. We have, for example, a school that was awarded a Blue Ribbon Award. Now, can I call this a Blue Ribbon awarded school district or school, right? Attending a Blue Ribbon awarded school? Again, just simply quoting, not stating this is going to great schools, because you guys know schools and politics, like, we'll stay off of that. All right. Type of homes stat. And when you think about the type of home, some of you have cookie cutter neighborhoods, some of you have ranches, some of you have 2 stories, right? And the type of home is also another great statistic that you could use. Example, there was a period of time when everybody seemed to want a ranch. If you listed a ranch, it would fly off the market faster than anything else. Now, what if you were to say 5 ranches were listed, 4 of them are already under contract, price square footage ranged from 1,000 to 2,000 square feet, price ranged from this one to that one, right? And I saw somebody in the comments that Texas is a non-disclosure state, so you guys use ranges. There's an example with ranges as well, for sure. So those are the neighborhood statistics you could implement and use. And then the third bucket, talking about reviews. How many reviews have you gotten? That's, you saw me ask earlier, and I will ask again at the end. Will you do me a favor and review me the classes so we can make them better? Why? Because when people continue coming through the classes, they have a look at the reviews. Well, is that worth my time? Should I even go? Right? What's your average review rating? Right now, we have an average review rating of 5 stars, right? Number of clients served. Have you seen a happy client club picture before? That one is definitely what we're talking about here. A little map that says, join my happy client club. 234 happy clients and counting. Do you think that that will convey, wow, that's a lot of clients, right? Or whatever number you have. And yes, it might take a little bit before you have a happy client club that you feel like is big enough to brag about, okay? But until then, just know that this is an option. All right, taking a quick pause here. How are we doing? Are we doing good? Do you see why I said notebook is really a good idea? Yeah? Okay. So we talked about the what and all of that good stuff. Let's change gears a little bit and talk about the how, okay? What types of statistics we just covered? What can we talk about? Different ideas. The how is one of my favorite ones. And while I am a whole lot more mailer focused in class in general, just what I do, right? Especially surprising statistics, I find these super fun, such as, did you know that actually 93% of millennials are enjoying direct mail? Yeah, 93% of them. Crazy, I know. Don't they like digital stuff? Yeah, they do. However, when you grow up with digital, direct mail feels really cool because it's new, which really it isn't. But anyhow, so crazy statistics make fantastic hooks, by the way, also on social media. So for those of you coming from the social media world thinking, I want to post more, do more, you can use what I teach you here, right? And you can then apply it online. So now that you know the what, let's talk about the how. And there are actually 5 different ways that I see direct mail. You can take the medium that you find is easiest for you. You can take the same information and package it up in a secondary piece of mail. There's a lot of mix and match options. And the first one is a letter. So you've seen a couple of these, and I'll point that out again in a minute, but a letter is an easy way to package up your statistics. Okay, just a simple like, hey, here's a letter. I just had a conversation with somebody. Anybody here a Cloud CMA user? Essentially, what I said, if you have a CMA to simply take the summary of all the listings, put it on one side of the letter, and then put a letter on the front of it saying, hey, I went ahead and already pulled a list of homes available. If you want the full report, just send me a text to this number and I'll get it over to you right away, right? So you send a summary, attach that letter, so it's a double-sided letter essentially, and out it goes. People see statistics on it, and it's a great conversation starter. Okay, so that's a letter. And letters, by the way, have been crushing it. As much as I love postcards because they're just a smidge more affordable, letters have been crushing it. All right, postcards. All right, I hinted on that one. You can send statistics with postcards, and I showed you a couple examples there as well. Flyers. Now, what's the difference between a flyer and a letter, right? Essentially, a letter goes in an envelope, a flyer does not. So if you think about, the difference between it, that's why it was worth listing here. A flyer is an easy way for you to get that out. Some flyers can be sent through the mail. When you get something that has these little tabs on the side, okay, those are also still considered flyers. Door hangers. Yes, you can just do door hangers. And I get asked a whole lot of times by agents who are just getting started. Well, how can I get leads? Well, my answer is always the same. Get a piece of paper and a good pair of walking shoes, right? If you do not have money to invest, you have time to spend somewhere. You must have time to spend somewhere. Restaurant owners are fronting $200,000 to open up a restaurant. Meanwhile, we as real estate agents do not want to invest anything. It's not going to work, right? So if you don't have money to invest, you got to invest your time. And to this date, I still go between the time versus money principle because it's just as a small business important for us to remember, what are we have right now to spend? Do we have time to spend or do we have money to spare? right? You have to make a decision. Free for free and not spending any resource is not a possibility to grow a real estate business, okay? So that's the door hanger one. And then we got note cards. So you can also send statistics and note cards. I have done that one before with, what did it say? Did you know that 79% of homeowners did not know what their home was currently worth? Something like that. So you can send that in a note card, and then it would lead to a response. Okay. Now, what are you putting on this letter? I think that's what Cindy's question is. Is it a summary of homes sold? Again, depending on your state, right? I can't tell you, yes, you have to put a summary of homes sold. Statistics can be a lot of things. Market trends, days on market. You can have, and I'll show you mine in a minute, homes sold. Lots of different ways to use statistics. All right. Now, design and layout. Sometimes I think stats seem difficult to package up. Luckily, they don't have to be. I'm going to show you a couple of my secret tips when it comes to them. And truly, it's all about making them pretty, right? I do think when you have infographics, they do a phenomenal job at that. So what could you do? Screenshots of a spreadsheet. Okay, I color code my spreadsheets, and you'll see it in a minute on my postcard. But color coding this one and then grouping my just listed, pendings, just sold makes it just a little bit more appealing, right? The type of home. If you have a home picture for a ranch, right, and you send that with, here are the statistics for the ranch homes, here are the statistics for the split levels, here are the statistics for the 2 stories, right? When people see the type of home, they're like, oh, that looks like mine. Oh, this looks like mine, okay? That makes it sometimes easier to digest. Next up, map. People know maps. They can see the streets, they can follow along, they can see, oh yeah, this one is near me, right? Taking some of these data points and makes them just easier to digest, just like a map. It's simple, it's effective. And then groupings, okay? You can group by the style of home, the subdivision name, the street name. Here's all the street houses that sold on this street. Here's all the houses that sold on that street. So for those of you with some smaller subdivisions, okay, that might also be a decent way to go about it. Or if you have a new build that you're trying to get into, another great way. I do think some of the graphs, right, those like graph thingies should be used sparingly, just because sometimes people get overwhelmed looking at them. And that's one of the things that I think you would look at. All right. Call to action is up next. So far, we're doing good? Yes? Okay. The call to action is really what makes your postcard, your mailer, the best possible one. They're easy, there's medium, and then there's hard. What level would you essentially like to use on your mailers? Most agents, for whatever reason, try to do it the hardest way possible. So we do visualize this one here as kind of like a stoplight system, right? Red is hard. We're like, oh, gotta get going, right? Yellow is a little bit easier, and then green is that what we most often do on all of our mailing pieces. So what's the hard part? It's the call or the appointment, okay? When you have a mailer that you're doing, might that be a letter, a postcard, a note card, a door hanger, it doesn't make a difference what it is. If your call to action is for a call or an appointment, that is the hardest way to get leads. Call me for a free CMA. Call me for a free market analysis. First up, CMA, nobody knows what that means other than you and me, right? Let's meet and discuss your needs. Not really. Call today for a free consultation. Okay, if you've been guilty of putting any of these on your mail pieces before, it's okay. We're not going to do that anymore. This is hard, right? Calling, connecting, direct calls to action for CMAs, consultations. People don't opt into this, okay? So you need to find a different call to action. Good thing we're going to discuss 2 more. A little bit easier. Event signups and registrations. Okay. We are a big fan over at the Hyperlocal Agents of hyperlocal events. Hyperlocal events are a fantastic way for you to get signups for your events, registrations, which also gives you their email to market to, such as register for a free picture appointment. We're actually getting ready to do one in a couple of weeks again, and it's a whole lot easier for us to get them to say yes because we're giving them something. Okay. Now, another one, and I started seeing a bunch of ads somehow lately about on demand webinars. So, a buyer or seller library essentially. And we have one that we use inside G Essential for buyer webinars and seller webinars. And it's a simple sign up. You sign up and get access right away. You don't have to connect with me. You don't have to wait for me to reply. It's on demand and you get access right away. Okay. So that is a whole lot easier and you can use it on your mail pieces. So we started putting one together and haven't gotten very far with it. But essentially, they are buyer and seller seminars combined. So they would apply to both. And depending on where they are, they would just say, hey, I'm a buyer. Hey, I'm a seller. But they would go through these classes with, a home inspector, an attorney, a stager, a lender, and it would just give them all the information on demand when they're ready to consume it. Okay? Just like this one here will be available on demand inside our ClassPass because some of you have different schedules. There's a lot of you guys that will be watching these on replay. I know that because I've have hundreds of agents go through it every single week. I see who is actually doing the replay because people are busy, right? So it's a lot easier for people to just register and then do it on their own time. So that is the second one. And then the easiest way by far for lead generation is simply to offer them something that's instant. And that is maybe a free guide, instant home value. That's a no-brainer. That should be in everybody's repertoire when it comes to real estate. A free quiz. Like that's been one of the things that we've obsessed with. And I can give you a quiz. I'll put that in one. Our quiz, for example, is how much of a hyper local agent are you? Gotta make sure there's no typo in it this time. And then I'll blend it in for you. Let's see. Okay, I think I got this right. There you go. thehyperlocalagent.com/quiz. And that one is just a fun little quiz that we did to help agents figure out, well, how much do you actually know about your neighborhood already? Okay. And it's an easy one. It's an easy one to just take and then get an answer right away. Meanwhile, you are going to be connecting with the person. So example, if you decided to sell your home today, would it sell? Take the quiz and find out. Okay. How well do you know your hyper local area? How well do you know your neighborhood, your town, whatever it is, right? There's a lot of fun little quizzes. We've done one for how much do you know about the groundhog? Would you take a groundhog quiz on Groundhog Day? I think so, right? Top of mind. Great list builder for March, by the way. Is it March for Groundhog Day? I think so. All right. Let me take that one back out. So those are 3 ways to go about it. All right, quick break. How we doing? We doing good? Moving on? All right. Next up, who are we going to send it to? Right? We know about the what. What can we talk about? Days on market and all of that good stuff. Maybe you want to talk about prices if you can. If not, oh well, right? Use the other statistics we walked through. We talked about the neighborhood stats, review stats, all of that good stuff. But then next up, well, who am I actually sending that to? I know what I'm sending. I'm going to do with my neighborhood and I'm going to pull the comps and see what else has been going on there, right? And I'm going to include that I am a 5-star reviewed agent, right? And one of these things is that you have then to decide who are you sending this to. Now, when I started implementing my statistic mailers, I was knee deep into my farm. I'm like, this is fun. I do want to send them out, but I was knee deep into it, meaning I was like 3,500 homes in, right? And I'm like, okay, statistics is something that we believe should be sent to everybody. So when I started, I'm like, I'm going to send it to everybody, but everybody's a lot. So how can I, put it into play? And what I decided was I'm going to do mine quarterly. Now, at first, that wasn't possible because 3,500 quarterly, that was a lot of money. So I decided I'm going to start with twice a year. So I figured spring market, right? Sending one right in January. Hey, here's what's been going on. And then in July. That's how I decided on it. There are really 5 types of mailers we would love for everybody to send to everyone in their farm. The statistic mailer is one of them. Okay. Everybody should be informed. And at the same time, this is also going to build your credibility. The quiz, I'll blend that one in a little bit longer. All right. So everyone in your farm should get the statistic mailer. And that can be, again, walked with a door hanger. You can send it by mail. Okay. Now, what if you don't want to send it to everybody? What if you're like, you know what? Everybody's a lot. 3,500 homes here in one farm when I started it. Now it's like 5,600 homes. Everyone is a lot. Well, honestly, you can just send it to specific people. Maybe you just send a statistic out to people that have owned their house for 20 years. Maybe you're just going to send out statistics for people that own a 1-story home, a ranch. Okay. You have so many options for specific people when it comes to these statistics. One of the fun ones we've done was a street address, meaning everybody on that street, right? Here's what's been going on your street. So it was just one street. It was a long street. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't a short one. It was a long street, but it was one street. And we did all the people on that street. That was a fun one too. We should do another one of those. Maybe in another class, right? Next up, timing. And that's where I just told you, like I said, I did work my way up into quarterly mailings personally, right? Just because my schedule was kind of not laid out initially for it. But when it comes to the timing, you have really to decide what works best for you. Do you want to do it monthly, right? Do you want to do it quarterly? Or do you want to do it annually? Those are the 3 considerations. And then the other option is, well, when you need business, obviously, right? Why? Because statistic mailers are giving you much more ready seller leads because they've already been through the entire questions of fixing up my house, decluttering the stuff. That's why we walked over that in the beginning of class, right? So when you need business. So the timing one, question is, what months do you send these out now? For me, it's for the quarter. So when the quarter is finished, they go out the week after. Okay. So quarter is finished and then they go out. So for me, that is January, right now, April, July, and October, hence 4. Okay. So I do send mine when the quarter finishes. Because why? Because I have access to the data when it stopped. All right, tracking. And I do have a fun little video for you to watch before we wrap up. We're almost at the top of the hour. And this is how personally I track, right? I get to talk to so many agents when it comes to their direct mail marketing. And I keep saying that this is by far the absolute best way to make sure that you are stretching your dollar when it comes to your marketing. Knowing who is actually just lurking to see without taking action, right, is a huge step of how I increased my leads by 30-40% this year alone because people were too timid to type in their name and email. Okay, so instead of typing in their name and email in a form, they scanned my QR code. I'm like, I got a notification right away. They saw that they had to opt in and decided not to and put the phone away. Now, normally, people don't even know that they scanned. We get immediate notifications on our postcards that are saying, hey, so and so at 123 Main Street scanned your QR code and you should follow up with them. And guess what we do? We follow up with them. All right, so I'm going to share you this video that shows it in action. I just wanted to explain it first. Okay, so that is our performance-based QR code scans, which is the bottom one. So I'll show you this one first. I want to show you what happens with a smart QR code. Okay, so I just got this postcard here that you see is like personalized and it has a smart QR code on the back. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to scan it. And you're going to see on my phone what happens. So turn it around. Let me find the camera button. Okay, so this one here is my phone. And then this one here is my husband's phone. So we're going to go ahead and get this one up. So there you go. All I did was scan my QR code. And right there, I just got a message that said so-and-so scanned the QR code. Kind of wild, right? Okay, so this is how it functions in general. Scan the card, I get a notification right away, and that person didn't have to do anything else. So lots of fun, lots of more leads, which is the big one here. Obviously, you can also see how many more people are visiting your website. Well, you should know how many people are visiting your website if you're driving traffic there. And then, of course, you can track calls, texts, emails, and all of that good stuff, right? So yes, tracking is important because you can't just say it's not working if you don't know if it's not working. All right, so let's postcards. So I showed you this one earlier. This one here is one of mine. And when I say, I want to point out a couple of things that are on there that make it so effective. My QR codes come with GeoCentral. So GeoCentral runs my entire real estate business, Cindy. All right. So this one here has the just listed, under contract, and just sold data. One of the questions that I oftentimes get is like, well, can you put other people's listings on there when they're active? This is the part where the disclaimer kicks in. Talk to your broker. I, at this point, only market my own listings. Okay, so I do not have any other people's actives on there, but I do have the ability to put the under contracts on there. Then we got recent time frame. So it says it right here, Q3. It's relevant to the neighborhood. This one here is one of my farms that I farm since 2017. And that's the one that's 3,500 homes at this point. It's therefore relevant to the neighborhood. We got a map here for relevancy as well. So we got the red dots, which stand out a little bit more. If you zoom in, there's actually yellow dots and the green dot on the it's a lot. And obviously that QR code right there as well. Okay. Another one is a simple postcard that is absolutely amazing. It is for a little smaller neighborhoods. It has the just sold data on there. Recent time frame. So again, also just making sure that these are based on quarters right now. It is relevant to neighborhoods. So this one here has the neighborhood on there. The other one has it on the back. And then the agent avatar for brand building is there. And of course, the call to action. This one here is hidden on that one. The other one is on the other side. So that is another one. Here's a letter. And a letter is, again, a great way. This one, I think the agent did a phenomenal job with it. It's talking about new listings, pending, and closed data. And you see here how it says 7 active listings, 4 pending, and 10 closed. I don't know about you, but I find it visually really, really appealing how it's structured. It also has here the breakdown of it, which I love the way it's structured. So I hope you're taking notes of how this agent did it. It's new listings. Okay, so there's this little icon and it has the number of listings, the lowest, the median, and the high list price. That's all right here. It does have average price per square foot and median price per square foot. So not getting, boxed into one. That was really, really well done on this one. And then it has it for the pending and the closed. And then there's also a map right here with stats and, of course, the call to action. And this one was relevant to a metro area. All right. Two other ones. This one here was a Q3 market stats, and it was a little bit hard to see. So again, maybe having a white on purple background. But again, new listing pending data, that was all there. You already saw this statistic earlier, right? A headline with a number for a hook is also a good one, being relevant to a metro area, map, call to action, all of this good stuff. And I have one more. This one, number of homes for sale, days on market, median sales price, new and closed data. And this is a pretty big area here. So there's a whole lot of good stuff I think you can take away. You see here the 5-star reviews. Local expertise, 5 stars. Process knowledge, 5 stars. Responsiveness, 5 stars. Negotiation skills, 5 stars. The credibility stack that is happening there is amazing, okay? That is the testimonial right here. And this is, again, just if you look at number of homes, okay, zoom in a little bit. This is the entire Lexington, South Carolina market. So it's a pretty big market, not a hyperlocal market per se. But you can see here a little bit of what's been going on year over year, right? 13 days on the market in 2022. Now we're up at 43 days on the market in 2023. And when people see that, it kind of indicates to them, oh, there's a shift, okay? So it makes it a whole lot easier to have conversations. Prices between May 22 and May 23. Well, prices went up. However, not by 30% or whatever craziness, right? So one of these things I think that you really have to see here is what you can do with numbers. Inventory, for example, between 22 and 23, their inventory went up by almost 70%. Okay, so when you have sellers that are expecting 22 results, but they are in 23 in this case, right? There is a discrepancy, and these numbers help stating, look, this is what we're looking at. The market is not the same. You can't expect the same outcome. That is not realistic. Remember, our job is sometimes to be the realist in the relationship, right? All right, let's do a quick recap here. What do we have? We got talk about the statistics. Why statistics to start with? We talked about what numbers work, okay? We talked about the wheel of direct mail. I gave you 5 ways to use it. Letter, postcard, flyer, door hanger, note card, right? Five different things. Design and layout we talked about. Tracking. What program do you use to get the text for someone scanning your QR code? GeoCentral. GeoCentral does everything for me. I will put it in here for those of you that have no idea what it is. GeoCentral is my platform for everything I do. It runs my entire real estate business. Okay. And then we talked about the right call to action. Promise me we're not going to put any more call me's on there. Okay. Done with them. All right. Who do you send it to? We talked about that, right? Everybody or certain people. That was discussed as well. So all of that's covered, which then leaves me to do one thing. I need you to pick what's next. So when I think somebody in the beginning said the book link, right? mailermombook.com. After class, I have one objective for you. A, implement, and B, decide where do you go from here. Want to come back next week? Awesome. Don't worry, I'll send you an email. You can sign up for next week's Lunch and Learn. Yes, they stay free. Okay. If you will say, I want to read the book, there's a link below, or you can type it into the browser. Okay. If you're saying, I need to do more mailers, I need to learn more about it. And then the mailer bootcamp, again, this one is coming up next pretty soon, but that's the other option. So hopefully class was good. And I think I forgot to include my last review. slide. My bad. So if you can do me a favor, you know what? I think I'm going to just find it on here. I'll type it. I'll just type it out. Let's see, hide. Say G-Essential is my platform or a third party. I don't know what that means. Say we created that. It is a tool. And feel free to send me a message. So how was class? If you had a good class, again, let me know. Leave us a review. This one is the word, keyword, and then that one is the number. Goes to our number for the hyperlocal agent. And hopefully it was helpful. Was it helpful? Let me know in the comments. And then we're going to do it all again next Monday. And I hope you get a statistic mailer out, drop off some flyers, walk them, whatever you need to do, but create something, get it out the door, and then from there, get some leads, follow up with them, and get more listings. That's the game we're playing after all, right? All right. Yvonne, I'll send you a message, not a problem. And then everyone else, thanks so much for tuning in. And we'll see you for our next Launch and Learn. Bye, everyone.